Welcome to Silverstone Circuit, home of Round 4 in the Roof European Trophy, and we're bringing it to you live on the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm Joe Peak. With me in the booth today is Ayrton Ellis. Glad to have you back in the booth with us, Ayrton.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Great to be here.
And naturally, behind the scenes, pushing all the buttons, is our director, Kevin Brown. Well, Ayrton, even though most of our audience is probably familiar with Silverstone, we're racing a less common version of the course here today. Tell us about the national circuit.
Well, the national circuit is about half the size of the regular circuit, 2.6 kilometers long, 1.6 miles, and it only has 6 corners. So make a mistake in any one of them, and you're going to lose a lot of time. Today we'll have two 20-minute sprint races. So the finishing grid of the first race will be inverted for the second race. So a lot of action to be coming in this race.
As is always the case with this series, our championship, brought to you by UGX Simulators, by the way. Currently leading it right now is Kevin Duvel, who's doing very well in practice, it looks like, leading the timesheets as well. He's got 129 points. Martin van Luzenoord is quite a ways back, 44 points back at 85 points. Kevin Vakemans has 70 points. And then Steve Clays has 51 points, a whole 78 points back. And Matthias Van Rieth at 49 points is fifth at 80 points back. We've got a lap guide around here to show you. It's going to be a fairly short one with under a minute for a lap. I'm sorry. Actually, unfortunately, we have some technical difficulties. We don't have our lap guide ready. We're going to hopefully try and get that ready in a moment here. But in the meantime, if you have any questions for us during the race or before the race, you can tweet us at GSR channel. We'll try and keep an eye on that and answer any questions, or just follow the channel to keep abreast on what's going on as far as the races that we broadcast go. Well, as we mentioned, Eric, it's a very we've got lap around here. So even though we don't have a terribly huge field compared to some races, I expect traffic to be a decent problem.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm just looking at the practice standings at the moment. There's about a 1.5 second gap between the fastest driver and the slowest driver. So with such a short track, there's definitely going to be a little bit of lap traffic. But as you mentioned, the small field is going to make things a little tighter and not so spread out.
Well, it looks like we do have our lap guide ready, so we are going to pull that up and show you what it's like on board a roof around here. Alrighty, we've got Kevin Brown behind the wheel of the GSRC roof, so let's do a lap around Silverstone National Circuit. Coming down the front stretch, first up is Cops. This is a fast right-hander, but there's lots of runoff, so expect guys to get greedy on the exit. Get yourself right up to the apex, drift it out to the curb. Welcome back. Sorry about that. We're continuing to have a few technical problems. We apparently could not get the sound going on that lap, unfortunately. But we still have more to talk about with this series. Like you said, the races on this series are very short, Ayrton. These guys really have to worry about, if they're starting in the back, they have to worry about making passes happen and making them happen quick, because they're going to run out of time very soon.
Yeah, and definitely on a track like this where there's actually quite a lot of runoff space, so passing could be easy, but a lot of tricky sequences of corners, a lot of left, right, right, left corners, so it will make it difficult to succeed in passes, but a lot of ambitious moves will be started.
All right, we think we have our gremlins finally solved here, so we're going to go back to that lap guide, see if we can finally get around this track. Alrighty, we've got Kevin Brown behind the wheel of the GSRC roof, so let's do a lap around Silverstone's National Circuit. Coming down the front stretch, first up is Cops. This is a fast right-hander, but there's lots of runoff, so expect guys to get greedy on the exit. Get yourself right up to the apex, drift it out to the curb, and then cross back over to set up for maggots. Watch out for guys exiting the pits, though, as they'll be right in the firing line. Maggots is going to have a very tricky curve braking zone here, so drivers lacking experience might lose it while putting the binders on. What's important here is focusing on your exit, because now you've got the long backstretch and there's plenty of room to let the car open up if you experience understeer. The fastest are going to be using every inch of track. Now get as far right as you can so you can set up for Brooklands, This is probably your best place to make a pass happen on this short lap. Then you're dumped right into Luffield. 180 degrees of waiting and waiting and waiting until you can finally nail it and accelerate away. Tuck the car up to the right side and keep that right foot down as you blast your way through Woodcote, across the start-finish line, and that's a lap around Silverstone's National Circuit. Welcome back. As you can see, like I said, very, very short lap, not a lot to it, and like Ayrton said, only 6 corners, but they're all very different corners. Each of them kind of have something a little bit different between them, such as the very fast sweeper of Cops, and then the tricky braking going into Maggots, Ayrton. I honestly, especially with the first lap, I expect a bit of chaos coming into that braking zone of Maggots.
Oh yeah, and especially if a driver, especially in the second race, when the slower drivers are a little slower coming out of the corners, there can definitely be a lot of backing up, a lot of traffic, and probably some contact to be expected as well. Because these guys, the difference in speed between the corners can really differentiate depending on the driver's lines.
Very much so, and probably our only passing point is going to be coming into Brooklands there, turn 4 after that long back stretch. It's a very heavy braking zone, and you've got that long acceleration period. So guys are probably going to be looking for passes into there if they want to make something happen. Everything else, otherwise, you're going to have to wait for some sort of mistake or something. Coming up to the final 2 corners, you look at Luffield, turn 5, very slow. There's a lot of time to try and work your way around that corner, Ayrton.
Yeah, it's definitely a very long corner, and the left-hander right before it can actually create some opportunities for drivers behind to make a move. But it is difficult. It depends on if the front driver makes a mistake. But that final corner, left field, very long. It feels like it's lasting forever, to be honest. But really fun to go around. If you get a good exit out of there, like turn 1 can be a good passing opportunity as well.
But you're definitely going to have the guy work with you if you want to make it happen. It's very fast through Cops. So as the championship goes, like we said, Duvel leading it, and he's currently leading the time standings in practice as we're watching them continue around the track. Uh, he's kind of had it. He's kind of been the guy to beat as far as pace goes, but he's not completely out of the woods. Guys like Martin van Luzenoord have been fighting him. The thing is, I've noticed, Ayrton, is that Martin just hasn't been able to stop the rot and keep the mistakes out, and that's why he's so much farther down in points.
Yeah, he seems to keep on being caught up in incidents constantly. And what I've also noticed is that drivers who do end up being able to challenge Kevin Duvel, such as Kevin Beckmans, uh, they're very fast, but they haven't attended all the races, so they are still a little farther back in points because they just haven't had the commitment that Kevin Duvel has had.
So you both got to show up and you got to make it all the way to the checkers, it sounds like, to try and be competitive in this series. As far as other people that we should keep an eye on, one that we've seen fair, I believe he's raced in this series before, but I want to kind of watch if we could get our camera on Jeroen Ursum and that pink Barbie car. I love I love the paint job on that car, Ayrton.
Oh yeah, Jeroen actually just joined the Green Valley Lake MX5 series that we also cover, and he has the same pink car as well there too. So I guess he likes that paint scheme. Apparently, he has it for his little daughter, who I think is about 6 or 7 years old.
It's a nice acknowledgement from him on acknowledging family in your racing, and a lot of these guys, are probably family guys or have other involvements. And I think that's something that we should note with this being sim racing. And that's why some of these guys don't always show up, because this is important, but there's real life obligations that can get in the way. So it's not something like where they're being paid to be here. These guys are all here for the passion.
Yeah, they're here for the fun, and none of them, or at least most of them, aren't professional drivers. Although there are some that use that do race outside go karting or drive around their local track. But a lot of these guys, they're doing it for fun, and it really creates a good community as well. Everyone is normally friends with each other. You don't see much rivalry rather than just friendship going on in friendly racing.
Yeah, and more than that, it's I really think is with this being a league race too, like you said, that familiarity, that friendly rivalry really builds up because you're around the same guys, most of the same guys, week in, week out, and really really builds a reputation that you know who you can trust, you know who to give space to, various things like that. And it just makes for better, closer racing overall, which is honestly a feature of this car. It really does promote close racing with how well it handles.
Yeah, it's a fun car to drive, and if you know the drivers around you, it can really have a great experience. At the moment, it looks like a lot of the guys have completed their qualifying laps.
And a few of them having fun. I see Kel Peterson currently doing donuts out on the track, actually. And we're hearing that Hub Denoge might not have made any laps at all yet, so he might be either starting from the back or yeah, I only see 10 cars in qualifying right now. Currently, Kevin Duvel sitting on the top. Since we've got pretty much almost everybody has done a lap except for one, let's go through the qualifying real quick. Oh, also, we do want to mention that Hugh Denouge does have a penalty for some of his racing of the last race. He had a bad re-entry, so for the second race of 2 weeks ago. So that he is going to start 5 positions back in the second race. But let's go through qualifying real quick. Kevin Duvel is currently sitting on pole for this first race with a 57.526. Then we've got Bram van der Sticklen in second with a 57.785, 2 tenths down. Martin van Luzenoord is sitting on third. Then Steve Clays has fourth. And then starting out the third row, we have Bob van Someren in fifth. And then what's the next set of them look like, Ayrton?
Well, in sixth we have Rob Boswinkel. Seventh is Kel Peterson. Eighth, Guido Decker. Ninth, Jeroen Ursum. And 10th is Mark Bensfelsen.
And obviously, 11th, since I don't believe we have any other cars signed up, is going to be Hube. So he is going to start out at the very back. He'll have a fair bit of work to do. In fact, I'm trying to see if he had put in. He actually was third in the timing sheets on practice. So he's really putting himself at a disadvantage here. Either that or he loves a challenge.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to see that he hasn't made any qualifying laps. There's also another driver who was in the practice session, Jochen Petke. He also did not put down a lap, so just a couple drivers not putting down any laps at all. Maybe they just want to start from the pit lane for a safe start.
Could be the case. I think Jochen might have left the session, so I'm not sure if he's going to be racing today. I currently don't see him out here, so he might be a no-show when they start to grid up. We're going to find out pretty soon because we got about 30 seconds left in qualifying, and then they are going to be out on the grid waiting for the green flag. This is a standing start, and it's definitely something that's separating a few of the drivers. We've seen this before, Ayrton, that some of these guys aren't getting very good starts, and it's really putting them at a disadvantage when they lose positions.
Yes, and definitely at the race at Zoller that we saw last time, there was a lot of bunching up into the first corner. A lot of guys starting in third or fourth position that were challenging for the lead just in the first few corners. So definitely those standing starts is a big advantage. If you can nail that, you can have a big advantage.
Well, I think Jeroen's getting his worth of that Barbie paint scheme as he's getting a lot of screen time looking at that pink car there. It looks like everybody's finished, so we're going to get everybody pulled up onto the grid now, and we're going to see how this race unfolds. Who have you got your eye on, Ayrton? Who do you think's got a good chance for the win for this first race?
I think I'm going to be rooting for Kevin Duvel. He seems really fast. He's been first in the practice and qualifying sessions, so he seems like he's going to be the one to beat in this race.
I want to see a bit of a challenge for this championship. I want to see Van Luzenoord cut out the mistakes and do a little bit better, and maybe see if he can give Duvel a run for his money. They are currently putting their cars out on the grid as you see them start to line up now. So all 12, it looks like we've got 12 cars that might be lining up, but Jochen doesn't seem to have shown back up, so it should be 11 of them taking the green flag, which we're waiting for right now as everybody gets themselves set up into their spot. Kevin obviously taking up that front row with Bram van der Sticklen just a little ways back in second, starting on the outside. He'll have to try and get himself a good start because he was 2 tenths down in qualifying. So if he wants to try and do something with passing opportunities being few and far between. It looks like the lights are out, so we're going to get the green very soon here. Lights are back up in red. There goes the green flag, and they are off. Bram has a decent start, but it's not enough to try and catch him. In fact, though, it looks like Van Luzenoord has a very good start. He's already got a nose up the inside. Is he going to try to make a pass into the first turn? No, he backs out, decides it's not time to do it. Oh, but it looks like Van der Sticklen goes quite wide, comes back onto the track, almost runs into Steve Clays, who takes another position. Clays up into third, and they are now going into the braking for Maggots.
Oh, and there's a crash. Bob Van Someren just got rammed in the rear by Rob Boswinkle. A few other cars involved in that. I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, it looks like Kel Peterson had a bit of contact with another car on the inside as he started to lose it. I'm not sure if he got damaged. He was off the track, but he's still going. Meanwhile, up at the front, Kevin Duvel still leading while we have, I'm sorry, it looks like, I was trying to figure out who was in second there for a second. Van Luzenoord is in second. Steve Clays is in third. Bram van der Sticklen all the way down into fourth. And Guido Decker up into fifth. So that's a huge jump for Decker, all the way up from eighth. I think he had a bit of a boon from that the accident that happened in Maggots.
Yeah, it looks like it was actually the cars of Mark Bensfelsen, Kel Peterson, and Bob Van Someren that were involved in that.
And those guys have lost a lot of positions. In fact, Van Someren is currently sitting in last place. Van der Sticklen had a little bit of a look at Steve Clays. That or he outbraked himself but couldn't make anything happen, and now he's at a disadvantage heading down the back stretch. Meanwhile, it looks like Van Luzenoord is holding on to the back of Duvel, so he's trying to make a challenge here. He isn't giving up very early, and I'm curious, do you know what the draft is like in these cars, Ayrton? Is it effective enough that if he stays close, he's going to be able to keep touch?
I think if you get a run, the draft will definitely help. I don't think it's enough to make too much of a difference. Maybe a couple tenths, but not too much of a difference. He has just a couple short, long straights, but nothing really big.
We're getting word. We're getting word as we switch to Benselven that Guido Decker was the initiator of that first crash. And I'm not sure if the stewards are going to look down on that since they've been cracking down, giving a penalty last race. Oh, and Van Luzenoord, let's go back to him because he had a bobble, and now he's going to lose significant time on Kevin Duvel.
Yeah, I noticed some of the other guys, they're having different lines. Exiting the corner, I saw that Steve Clays actually getting attacked by Van der Sticklen at the moment. Van der Sticklen went on the inside. He's looking to go on the outside now, on the outside of left field. I don't know how possible that maneuver is, but he might try to get the over-under. But, yeah, it looks like he's getting a good enough run. I'm not sure if he's going to get the draft into turn one, though.
Yeah, but he's going to have to slip to the outside now as they go through Woodcote. In fact, his momentum is definitely screwed up. Although now he looks to the inside, coming to the braking for Copps. He outbrakes him, but is he going to be able to make it through the corner? It looks like perfectly executed. That was a textbook pass from Van der Sticklen as he demotes Steve Clays one more position into fourth.
Yeah, now Van der Sticklen, his next target is going to be Martin Van Luzenoord in that second place position. He has a little bit of a time loss there, about a second and a half from those guys in front because of that little mixing up in those final few corners.
Credit to Van der Sticklen, though, for making that pass happen early. We're only on lap 4 right now, and we've got about 15 minutes left to go, so there's a lot of race left. The fact that he was able to get that done as quickly as he did means that he's going to have the time to try and run down Van Luzenoord if he has the pace. Let's take a look at Rob Boswinkle right now, who's trying to hunt down Jeroen Ursum, and that is for the 7th and 8th positions, although he is also under threat from Mark Bentfelsen, who is holding down 9th.
Yeah, what I like about this series is that even though it's a small field, you get the action in the front and the back quite a bit. The speed of the drivers, actually, as Robin Zwinkel does spin out of turn 1, he hits the wall. That's going to be a lot of damage. Not sure how drivable that car will be.
That was a massive hit into the inside wall for Boswinkle. In fact, he's going to go all the way into last place because of that hit. But the good news actually, no, I'm sorry. I was going to say the good news is he's going to be moved farther up in the second race, but we have 11 cars. So unless somebody else goes out, he is going to be starting at the very back after that accident for the second race.
Yeah, and that's going to be unfortunate. It's just the first 10 cars that are inverted. So if you're that one leftover car, that's quite unfortunate.
Let's hop over to Guido Decker, though, because he's trying to hunt down Steve Clays. Clays has been slowly moving down the order. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, no, he started fourth, so he's back where he started. So Clays, even though he took advantage early, he wasn't able to hold on to it. And the fact that Decker was kind of hunting him down for a moment, I thought that possibly he might not have the pace that he was able to do in qualifying. So right now he's starting to pull away a bit. I know he had a bit of a mistake earlier that we didn't get on camera. Meanwhile, Decker goes very wide, and Hugh Danuge is very close behind him. In fact, maybe he's going to try and take a look on the inside here to Brooklands. Takes a little bit of a peek, tries to outbrake him. It's very close between the cars, but just sneaks by him. And it looks like, whoa, and a bit of a slide from Decker, who holds on to it. I thought he was going to make the over-under, Ayrton, but now it's kind of a moot point.
That was an excellent pass by Danuge. I didn't expect him to try to make that dive into the inside, but he did some very good braking and managed to pull off the move. Danuge is also one of the drivers who was faster. He was in fourth in the practice session, but he didn't put down his qualifying lap, so he's trying to catch back up as he goes a little wide in turn one. But he's going to try to catch back up into what I guess is his rightful position in that fourth place.
Yes, he's got a top 5 right now, so he's doing fairly well up in the upper half of the field at the moment. So, meanwhile, up front, Kevin Duvel continues to lead, but it's less than a second last time by the line between himself and Luzenord. And then it's a whole another second, actually less than a second back to Vander Stickland. They're kind of holding position between those guys at the moment. Everyone's getting a little bit spread out, but let's go back to Jeroen Ursum, who is under attack, and it looks like he's just lost a position to Bentfelsen.
As he's trying to come back on the outside of Luffield, this was what I was talking about. Was there a little contact there, right there?
It looked like he may have given him just a little bit of a tap. He was trying to get a run. Like you said, you can kind of do that if you square off the corner. But right now he's very close, so it's not over yet between these two for 7th and 8th.
Yeah, but what I was talking about with that Luffield corner, the corner before it allows a lot of drivers to try to get on the outside, but Luffield is such a difficult corner to make a pass on the outside, so they really just have to try the over-under, but Luffield is such a long corner, it makes it very difficult to pull off a maneuver there. So a lot of guys end up going side by side in those corners, but really can't do anything about it, just end up slowing each other down.
Well, unfortunately, Ursum did not get a good exit onto the back stretch, and now he's losing a bunch of time. This is a chance for Mark to try and just run away and get out of this battle and make up some time, because they're going to slow each other down the more they battle like this. Meanwhile, behind them, Bob Van Someren and Kel Peterson are also having a battle, as Kel comes from a long way back and almost runs into the side of Someren, but they both manage to maneuver their way through Brooklands, now through Luffield. It's a battle for 9th and 10th. These are still worth points, even though they are at the back of the field.
I'm interested to see if either of these guys are going to purposely try and finish in the lower position to start on pole for the next race. What do you think, Joe?
I don't know if it's worth just that one position, because they're already going to be a bit slow. I think, if anything, they need to focus on those starts, because that's really made the difference in a lot of these races, of getting a good start and being able to make up spots in the first couple corners. Well, meanwhile, Peterson took another go into Maggots, but didn't quite have enough. In fact, he got a bad exit out of there, so he's losing a bit of time coming down the backstretch. And once again, he brakes much later. Whoa, and takes a very shallow line. I think there was just a bit of contact into Brooklands. Very different lines between those two cars heading into that turn 4 there.
Yeah, I've noticed that Peterson much later on the brakes than Van Someren, so he's making some very aggressive passes. They almost touched in that corner right there, but good thing that Van Someren was able to react. He went a little wide just to give enough room so he didn't get spun around.
Let's jump up to Jeroen Ursum, though, because he's caught up to the back of Mark Bentfelsen, who is heading towards Maggots right now. He's not close enough to try and make a pass, but if he can set himself up with a good exit, he should have an opportunity. It looks like he's got a solid run. He's going on the back of that black and white car. Let's see if he can make something happen there.
Yeah, and this is the longest straight on the track. It gives a little bit of draft, but he's just a little too far away. But as we saw with some other drivers, they like to break late into this corner, so that provides a lot of opportunity to close the gap. As Ursum is actually closing the gap on the exit of that corner, entering Luffield. He's right on the rear bumper of Bensfelsen now. But as Bensfelsen does get a little better exit out of Luffield corner.
Yeah, he seems to carry much more speed through Brooklands, which could be an advantage, even though you're not set up well for Luffield. You kind of have to square off that corner anyway, so maybe he's thinking sacrifice a little bit of the entry to carry some more speed in and get nice and close. But he wasn't able to make anything happen to the cop, still trying to hunt down that car in front of him, that black and white roof. All right, let's hop up to Steve Clays and Del Nuge, and they are having quite a battle here for fourth and fifth as Hube has been trying to make up for that early trouble that he had on lap one.
Yeah, it looks like Danuge has just been gradually catching up again, lap by lap to Clays. I think he's going to be attacking in these next few laps really soon as he actually gets a really nice run out of Luffield. He's going to get the draft. I don't think it's enough really to make a move in turn one, but he's looking to the inside. Is he going to try to break later? And oh, he's still on the inside. A little bit of contact between those two, but Stephen Clays does some really good defending.
Very hard driving as we hop on board with Hoob here and see what it's like trying to run down Clays. And yeah, I was going to say very close driving. Oh, and there's a bobble from Clays. This could be the opportunity for Hoob as he gets a good run. He's right up on the back of that rear bumper of the roof in front of him. Is he going to take a peek at the inside? It looks like Clays tries to stay defensive. In fact, he runs halfway, but now he runs back to the line. And they both break for Brooklands, but it's not enough as Danuge loses time.
I was expecting Danuge to go for that move since he was right alongside it, but we saw some other drivers making some large dive bombs, so I'm surprised he backed off so much into that corner.
Maybe he thought it was better to not instigate some sort of accident there and live to fight another day when he's a little bit farther up. Although I have to admit that I probably would have gone for it too. We're getting word that Jeroen Ursum had a spin. He's currently sitting down in 10th. And oh, I'm sorry, Danuge goes off. So Danuge has made a big mistake as well, and this could cost him the chance as we've got less than 7 minutes to go here.
As I actually see Jeroen Ursum going into pit lane. Not sure if he's planning on retiring or just making a swap of tires. It seems odd in a sprint race like this.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he made contact with someone somewhere along the line. Maybe it hurt his handling, but we are currently watching the battle between Van Sommeren and Kel Peterson, and they are side by side. Oh, and there was a little bit of a bobble from Van Sommeren, and it didn't seem to hurt him that much as they're still very close on track, but it looks like Peterson is defensive into Brooklands.
Yeah, Van Sommeren tried to do the over-under, just didn't quite get the exit that he wanted before, but definitely these guys were switching around. I was looking at their exiting turns 1 and 2. They were side by side for quite a few corners.
Very much so. Sommeren tries to get the exit, but doesn't quite do it, coming onto the front stretch, so he's going to lose time. Losing time down the front stretch. But let's hop back to this other battle between Clays and Delnuge, which is very much heated up as the moment as Clays is able to do the over-under and get the spot back from Delnuge. I'm not sure when Delnuge was able to take that from him, but now they're going to be very close heading towards Brooklands. Once again, Clay stays defensive, but he doesn't stay defensive enough as he moves back to the line. Delnuge looks to the inside. They're going to go side by side into Brooklands. It looks like Clays is going to go wide. In fact, he goes very wide. He loses control just momentarily, but holds on to it and keeps it pointed forward as Hube is able to move himself up in a 4th spot.
It's very good driving there. Steve Clays just seemed to drive it a little bit too hard on that defensive outside line, so he went a little wide, but some good driving from both of them. Danuge didn't outbrake himself and hit anyone, so that was good.
Yeah, I was saying before, this is incredibly hard driving from both of them, but very fair driving. These guys are doing a great job to just keep this battle, on a leash, basically, if you will, so that it doesn't get too out of control. It's very easy to let the adrenaline kind of get to you, Ayrton, and make a foolish move here or there.
Yeah, and these guys are giving each other plenty of space as well. I've seen a lot of racing where the person defending on the outside gives barely any room, but these guys are, as we saw Steve Clays lap before, he gave plenty of room on the outside while still defending his position very hard.
I want to jump back to Bob Van Sommeren and Kel Peterson because they are side by side heading down the back straightaway right now. This fight for 8th and 9th is still on, and this is for points here between these guys as Van Sommeren is losing out around the outside of Brooklands, or maybe he's not. No, he carried too much speed. He goes almost off the track, gets it back on. I thought he was going to make a very smart move for a second there, Ayrton, and just carry his momentum around the outside and hold it for the inside of left field.
Yeah, it looks like he just did the same thing that Steve Clays did, just carrying too much momentum on the outside, and we'll probably see that from a lot of drivers trying to make moves on the outside or defending on the outside. They just carried too much speed, and that caused him to go off track. Just an update that Rob Boswinkle looks like he's retired from the race.
Meanwhile, Jeroen Ursum is back out on the track and continuing to go, although he's in 10th spot. But the nice thing for Jeroen, he's going to be on the pole at this point as long as nobody else retires.
Yeah, and even if someone does retire, they might not do the second race, but he'll definitely start on the front row.
Well, we are getting word that Bram van der Sticklen, who we are on board with right now as he goes way wide on Kops and gets it back onto the track, has been closing in on Martin van Luzenoord for the last few laps. This is for second position. Van der Sticklen very close now, gets a little bit too much curb and the car gets a little bit unsteady, and now he's going to lose time down this back straightaway.
Yeah, it looks like Van Luzenoord has lost a little bit of time from Kevin Duvel, about 2 seconds gap as formed between those two. But Duvel's still in sight, so but Van Luzenoord now has the pressure from Van der Sticklen at the moment, as we just saw him hit all the cones before left field.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit too much track there. Yeah, Duvel is not out of the woods. He's got to keep his mistakes out and be able to continue to run this pace all the way to the end. We're getting very close to the end here, and he can breathe a little bit easier, but not easy enough. In fact, it looks like Van Luzenoord gained a bit of time that time by, as it's now under 2 seconds. I'm not sure if Duvel is backing off just a bit to not make as many mistakes or what. But regardless, he's still holding on to the lead, and we're getting word that Van der Sticklen is missing shifts, which is costing him time. In fact, he's a fair ways back from Luzenoord now. Van Luzenoord, I'm sorry.
Yeah, definitely any mistake between these three can cost them dearly because they're so close together. The times say that they're 2 seconds apart, but it doesn't feel that big because you can see all three of them on the same screen.
Yeah, like I said, mistakes have to be kept to a minimum around here because just one, even just a bobble out of a corner, you're going to be in the clutches of the guy behind you. So both Duvel and Van Luzenoord have got to just hit their marks, focus on the track ahead of them, Ayrton.
Yeah, meanwhile, the battle between Peterson and Van Sommeren is still going on. They're going side by side to turn 4 at the moment, and Van Sommeren defending really well on that inside line. Peterson tried to go into the outside, but it didn't quite work for that corner.
No, he's trying everything he can to try and get that spot back, wants to get up into 8th position, get that precious few more points. Peterson's working hard to try and make something happen as the minutes tick down around here. And we're getting word that Clays and Delnouge are getting heated up again, as these two have been fighting pretty much the entire race. Clays looks on the inside of Brooklands. He might be clear past. They're still side by side. Delnouge is going to have the inside, but he's just a little far back. Ooh, gets chopped off very close by Clays. There's just a hair's width between those two cars. Now they accelerate away to the start-finish line, but boy, was that close.
Yeah, Delnouge seems to break very early for turn 4, and that just gave Clays the perfect opportunity to make that dive on the inside, perfectly executed, and just cut in front when the opportunity was gone for Delnouge into left field.
That was incredible trust from Clays to be able to slam the door on Hube there. I thought for sure that they were going to make contact and we were going to see one of them spin around. They're getting close once again. Very wide line from Clays. Delnouge keeps it nice and tidy, but I don't think he got enough of a run. Or maybe he's going to prove me wrong here. He's still pretty close behind him. They might have another opportunity. Let's see if he can late break into Brooklands. He looks a little bit to the inside, but he decides to hold back.
Yeah, still braking early for that corner. He probably doesn't feel very confident as when a driver brakes very early for a corner instead of late braking. Actually, yes, he's tapping Clays a lot in that left field corner, making a little bit of tire smoke there as well. He seems to be pretty aggressive.
Remember, there is no automatic brakes on these cars, or I'm sorry, anti-lock brakes on these cars, as there was another attempt by Danuge into turn one, and now he's forced Steve Clays to make an error, goes wide as he tried to defend, and Danuge just blows on by. This could be the position for him. We've got the white flag out, so Danuge is sitting quite handily in fourth position ahead of Clays. That was a brilliant move on his part. Meanwhile, it looks like Duvel is going to come around to take the checkered flag here. He's not got a very big gap back to Van Loosenord. There must have been a mistake that we missed somewhere, but I don't think it's quite enough as he accelerates out of Luffield cleanly. And I believe we're going to get the checkered flag this time by at the line. There's the win for race number one. On round four, Kevin Duvel takes the win. Van Loosenord takes second. Bram van der Sticklen, very well done to take third, complete the podium. Steve Clays, Hugh Denoge is going to take fourth, with Steve Clays finishing in fifth. Meanwhile, it looks like Guido Decker is going to come home sixth. Mark Bentvelsen is, yes, he's going to be able to come home in seventh. Bob Van Summeren, Bob Van Summeren, that was Jurgen Ursum a few laps down, finishing. Van Summeren is coming across the line just now. He's going to be able to take eighth. Kel Peterson, a little ways back. He must have really lost a bit of time somewhere along the way and is going to finish ninth. Meanwhile, rounding out the top 10, as we said, a lap down, is Jeroen Ursum going to take the pole in the next race. And Rob Boswinkle did not finish 17 laps down, so he's going to have a hard time starting all the way in the back in the next race.
Yeah, but Jeroen Ursum definitely going to have an opportunity to do well in the next race. Starting on pole is going to give him a good advantage.
All right, we are going to go through the race results one more time for you in case you missed it. Kevin Duvel was the winner. Martin Van Loosenord was in second. Bram van der Sticklen taking third to round out the podium. Hugh Danuge in fourth. Steve Clays finished fifth. Guido Decker in sixth. Mark Bentvelsen in seventh. Bob Van Summeren in eighth. Kel Peterson in ninth. Jeroen Ursum in 10th. Rob Boswinkle in 11th. And Jochen Petke did not start. I don't believe he's going to be showing up at the next one either. We'll see in a few moments. The next race is going to start for race 2 here at round 4. Stick around. It's going to be exciting with a reverse top 10 with Jeroen Ursum on the pole. Don't miss it. Welcome back. We are at race 2 here for round 4 in the UGX Simulators Roof European Trophy. Jeroen Ursum starting on pole here with the reversed ordered field. Kel Peterson starting in second. Bob Van Someren starting in third. Mark Bentvelsen in fourth. Guido Decker starting fifth. Steve Clays in sixth. Hube Denuge in seventh. Eighth is Bram van der Sticklen. Ninth is Martin van Luzenoord. And 10th is Kevin Duvel, our winner. The lights are up. And there's the green flag. They are off. Let's see if Jeroen can make good with this boon he's been given by starting on pole. He does get an excellent start. Van Someren does as well as Kel Peterson starts to slip back. It looks like Mark Bensfelsen is looking on the inside. There's contact between the two side by side, so they're able to continue on. Everyone else seems to be mostly clean. Let's see if they can do a better breaking into maggots than they did last time here, Ayrton.
Yeah, it looks like almost a three-wide moment between Steve Clays, Guido Decker, and Bensfelsen. As there's contact, Jeroen Ursum has spent. He goes off track. Doesn't look like he's going to hit the wall, but he's sent to the back of the pack now.
Oh, man, he absolutely lost that lead that he had started with. He is all the way in the back. Meanwhile, it looks like Kel Peterson, he's in third. We had a challenge for the lead. I'm trying to figure out who that was. No, we did not. We have a lot of accidents going on, though. There was a car ran into. Kel Peterson just got hit by Guido Decker. Now Steve Clays gets hit as well. A number of cars making contact heading into Brooklands.
Yep, Danuge caught in that as well, and Peterson. So a lot of fast drivers heading down, as we see. Also, Bram van Sticklen heading into the pits. Maybe he got damaged. A lot of drivers actually headed into the pits.
So this could be just what some of these guys needed. I'm not sure if Duvel is still out there. Yes, it looks like Duvel is still out there. I didn't quite catch if he got caught up in that, but this could be a chance for Van Luzenoord to try and make up some time. So our lap counter, unfortunately, is wrong. We apologize for that error. We're trying to keep you abreast on that. We've got about... 18 minutes left to go from what I'm seeing. Meanwhile, Bob Van Someren currently leading. Mark Bentvelsen in second. Guido Decker in third. Van Luzenoord holding up fourth. And Hube Denuge in fifth. We're also getting word that Van der Sticklen actually jumped the start, so he has stopped in for a black flag, a stop and go. That's unfortunate to see.
Oh, yeah, and also just with Duvel and Van Luzenoord, there's a 6-second gap between those two. So Luzenoord, this is his chance to gain some points.
Absolutely, although Duvel had the measure of it last time, but it was only about 2 seconds at the line, less than 2 seconds at the line in the last race. So he's got to really hustle to try and make that up. In fact, let's hop back to Duvel right now because he's trying to hunt down Denuge, and it looks like he might have an opportunity as they go side by side in the braking for maggots.
Denuge has a lot of damage on his car, and that might be affecting his speed at the moment because I don't remember him being that much slower than Duvel.
Yeah, in fact, he was able to hold on to it through maggots, but now he is under threat as Duvel looks to the inside, coming down the back straightaway. He's going to have the advantageous line coming into Brooklands, clears him under braking, so this is going to be a slam dunk for him to move up into fifth.
Meanwhile, there's a battle between Martin van Luzenoord, Guido Decker, and Mark Bensfelsen for that second place position. They're all very close together.
Van Luzenoord in the back of these three cars with Decker in third and Bentvelsen trying to hold on to that second spot here. And he is very much under threat as we see another car come out of the pits, and Decker looks to the outside as they break from maggots. He's very close, almost touches the back of Bentvelsen, but is able to hold on to it. But now he doesn't get a good enough exit as Van Luzenoord is very close. He looks to the inside, coming down the back straightaway. So Van Luzenoord looking to take that final podium spot.
And meanwhile, he backs off as Guido Decker actually makes contact with Mark Bensfelsen. Those guys are going to spin right in front of Martin van Luzenoord. He's going to get 2 free positions from that.
And Kel Peterson just sneaks through there, and so does where's Kevin Duvel actually in all this? Kevin Duvel was a little bit ways back, but I think he's going to get a couple spots out of that. Yes, we see those cars start to duck into the pits, so they've obviously incurred some damage with that contact that they made. So this is going to move Duvel up. Van Luzenoord up into second now, trying to hunt down Van Someren.
Duvel is now in third place. He is 6 seconds behind Martin van Luzenoord, who is 2 seconds behind the leader.
This could be a great opportunity for Van Loosenord to try and make up the points that you mentioned earlier. It looks like he's starting to gain on Sommeren already. If I recall, he was a little bit faster than Van Sommeren in race one. So this is a very good opportunity for him to try and bag a win.
Yeah, if there is some lap traffic ahead of them, I think that's the driver of Bram Van Stickelen, so he might not actually slow them up that much, but he did go off track a little bit there, but he might actually provide some draft for Martin Van Loosenlord. Maybe they can work together to try to get lead on Duvel.
We're getting word that Van Sommeren had some damage in the first race, so that might have been hurting his pace, but he is not dealing with the pressure very well. He's had a few slides and some very bad apexes, and Martin Van Loosenord already has it down to under a second. He is closing in. You can see them both on the same screen, and Van Loosenord is just slowly reeling in this leader, looking and hungry to try and get a win and run away from Kevin Duvel now that he's got the chance.
Meanwhile, Hugh Danuge did retire from the race, and he's exited the session.
In fact, we have a few drivers who have retired. Steve Clays is retired. Kel Peterson is managing to still go, although he's 2 laps down. Like you said, Hugh Danuge is retired. And then Bram van der Sticklen is our last driver on the lead lap. So Van Loosenord very close now as Van Sommeren comes around Luffield, now through Woodcote and on across the start-finish line. What is it going to be this time across the line? Let's see what the timing says. It is now 4/10, less than half a second. He is within striking distance. He closes up even more through Copse as Van Sommeren takes a little bit too wide of a line. Now coming up to Maggots. Is he going to try and attack right away? No, he does not, Ayrton.
Yeah, it looks like that's not a very good passing opportunity as he goes to the inside on the exit of Maggots. It looks like he's going to get the run coming up to Brooks, and they're side by side now.
We're on lap 7 here, only 7 minutes into the race. And he's going to take a look onto the inside. Van Loosenord is making his attempt. He outbrakes him, but he's not far enough alongside as he loses some momentum. They both get a little bit squirrely, but they hold it together. And amazingly, Van Sommeren holds on to it in time for Luffield. Now Van Loosenord is going to try the crossover. In fact, he does it with super effectiveness and just cruises on by before Woodcote.
Very good driving, very clean driving from both those drivers. They gave just enough space for each other, and Lord now is in the lead, and maybe Sommeren will slow up Kevin Duvel when he catches up to him as well, but Kevin Duvel in that mix-up is now only 5 seconds behind, so he's gaining some time on these guys.
Yeah, this is where Duvel is really going to want Van Sommeren to try and fight back, because you saw that second of time that was chopped off of him. Although Sommeren didn't get a good exit coming out of that final stretch, or that onto the back stretch there. But yeah, this Duvel really, he's got a bit of pace, so I think he could close in. But it's really going to help them if these two can stay together as Van Loosenord goes wide at Brooklands. Sommeren braked very late and closed up. I don't think he's going to be able to make an attempt. He's now right onto the back of Van Loosenord, so obviously he's not given up without a fight. Oh, and he spins. Van Sommeren just keeps it from going fully around, goes sideways, and this means Duvel has nothing between him and Van Loosenord now.
Yeah, it looks like Van Sommeren just got on the power a little too early, got some tire spin, and couldn't control it when it got loose. So now it's just a sprint between Duvel and Van Loosenord to see who the faster driver is. But looking from their pace from the previous race, it looks like Van Loosenord might be able to get this win.
And unless there's problems further down the field, Bram van der Sticklen was the only one close enough for them to lap, because Jeroen Ursum is about 12 seconds back from the leader right now. And with this being a very short race, I don't think they're going to have time to come back around and try and lap him. We're getting word that van der Sticklen actually went off track, and in fact, he's completely exited. So I think we have another retirement.
Well, that's a lot more retirements than the previous race. Almost, actually, pretty much half the field has retired from this race. So definitely a lot more incidents in the second race, as expected with the inversed grid.
Mark Entfelsen isn't quite retired. He might as well be at this point. He's 4 laps down and in the pits, obviously getting some repairs done. Meanwhile, the last person running besides Mark, who's in the pits, is Kel Peterson, sitting in 7th. But all of these guys, the top 10, get points, so everyone's going to have points regardless, I believe, unless they have a rule about needing to finish a certain percentage of the race. This time by, or at least last time by, Martin Van Luzenoord had about just under 4 seconds back to Kevin Duvel. So Kevin Duvel is chopping off the time. We're halfway through the race as far as timing goes, with these being timed races, 10 laps in. So I don't know. It's going to be tight. Duvel's going to have to cut down on the mistakes, Ayrton, if he wants to try and snag this win.
Yeah, I think Duvel might have just that little bit of extra pace, and once he's caught the draft, he'll probably be able to close in. So that's probably what he's looking for.
Now, here's the question, too. With the championship at stake here, obviously Van Luzenoord is going to close in on the points, so Duvel has something to lose if he stays behind him. But is it worth risking try to make an aggressive move close to the end? Because that's probably when it's going to come, unless Van Luzenoord makes a mistake. I mean, what would you do, Aaron? Would you try and make a go for the win if you have the opportunity, or do you just take that second place and consolidate?
I think I think if I don't know what Duvel's thinking. I don't know what kind of driver he is, but I would probably try to go for the win. And if I made a mistake, there's not much to lose because he already has quite a big lead in his championship. Van Luzenoord is in second, but that lead is quite large.
And we were getting information that I missed. We'll see if we're getting word that Bob Van Summeren had a spin. It looks like he's lost another position, and Guido Decker has moved himself up into the podium spot. So Guido Decker making good of this race number 2.
Yeah, very good run from him, especially after his really unfortunate results at Zolder. We can tell that he's a fast driver, but he's not been having the best luck in this series.
Yeah, so trying to do the best, and it seems to be, like we said earlier on, that cutting down on the mistakes is really key here. But we need to keep an eye on this first and second battle that's just slowly brewing under the surface. Duvel, this time 2.8 seconds. He's been chopping about 4/10, 6/10 each lap by. We have about 8 minutes to go, so it is going to be close. He's going to have maybe 2 or 3 laps, I think, at the end if he continues at this pace to try and get by. And Aaron, there's that old cliche as we go on board with Duvel here, that it's one thing to catch a driver, it's another to pass him.
Yeah, and after seeing the previous race in race 1, we barely saw any passing between the top 3 drivers. They were all within attacking distance, but none of them really made any moves. So seeing Duvel, the chasing driver, it might be a different story.
Yeah, we'll have to see what his chops are on trying to go side by side with Luzenoord. We've seen them battle before, including in race 1, I believe, at I'm sorry, I had a bit of a moment there trying to remember where that one was at. Zandvoort, actually, that first race was at. This time by 2.6 seconds. Let's see what they are as they get close, coming around Luffield right now. Duvel continuing to try to hunt him down. Can just see him off in the distance as he tries to get that speck bigger and bigger in his windscreen. Van Luzenoord coming across the line right now. Let's see what Duvel is back this time by. 2.1 seconds. Another half second chopped off. At this rate, he's going to be right up on him in about 4 laps, it looks like.
And a lot of lap traffic is actually coming up in front of these 2 guys. So the drivers of Steve Clays, Kel Peterson, Mark Bansfeld, Jeroen Ursum, they're all right in front of these guys. So they could have an effect on this.
Yeah, I guess with their damage, they've been losing time, so that's why they're lapping them when we didn't really expect that. In fact, Van Luzenoord coming up to that lap traffic of Steve Clays right now. Clays currently in last place, 9 laps down, but just continuing to try to put in the laps, I guess, to hopefully try to accrue some positions. He's still got Huub de Nuge on the same lap as him. And it looks like that is Kel Peterson getting out of the way of those guys as they cruise on by. Van Luzenoord still closing up on the back of Clays here as Clays goes a little bit wide. They're getting very close, but he just gives them enough room. Clays really needs to back out now. He's not fighting for anything, and now he does as Van Luzenoord goes on by. But there was another few tenths lost as Kevin Duvel was 1.9 seconds this time.
Yeah, that might have cost Van Luzenoord a little bit of time, but The interesting thing is that actually Peterson is Van Loosenlord's teammate and Clays is Duvel's teammate. So that lap traffic might be used to slow down each other to help their teammates.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they got team orders going on as Van Loosenhoorn takes a lot of curb through Brooklands. He's got to be very wary of that. These cars seem to get a little bit unsettled and obviously quite easy to spin. It's a bit hot here today, especially for Silverstone, England, because I believe it's about 83 degrees with no humidity. Must be a very balmy summer out there.
Yeah, it's a very nice day, and it does affect the cars a little bit. They may get a little more less traction, actually, as we see Steve Clay sliding on the exit of turn 1. He doesn't really have any positions to lose anyway since he's in last place, but definitely these cars are, as we just saw, are quite difficult to handle on this track because it's very slippery.
And for those of our viewers who are not in the northern United States here, it is 28 degrees Celsius, not 83 degrees Fahrenheit. Sorry about that to our European viewers. But the battle is on up at the front because Van Loosenhoorn now is definitely within the clutches of Kevin Duvel as he has closed up on the back. It was just over a second this time by. This time it's going to be well under a second. I'm pretty sure as they come across the line, it is now 0.7 of a second. Coming into Copse now. Let's see if he can make it happen with less than 4 minutes left to go.
Yeah, with 4 minutes left to go, it's going to be about 4 laps left of the race as well because it's about a minute lap. So Kevin Duvel has each corner 4 times to make a chance, and that's not that much time as you would expect.
Yeah, he's really going to have to make some sort of aggressive move or try to force an error out of Van Loosenhoorn. Let's see what he can make happen as he closes up down the backstretch. Can Van Loosenhoorn hold up to the pressure? Can he withstand all this pressure from Kevin Duvel as they come around Luffield now, closing up more and more with each corner? It looks like it's going to be less than half a second this time by at the line. We've got, we're coming onto lap 18 now. So we've got maybe 2 laps to go, 2 or 3 laps to go for these guys as he closes up. And Van Loosenhoorn goes quite wide through Copse. That's going to really hurt him. Duvel closes up, coming up the Maggots. He's definitely not going to be close enough to make a pass here, Eric.
Yeah, they do have some lap traffic ahead of them. Jeroen Ursum and Mark Benskelsen are...
Van Loosenhoorn went wide. I'm sorry, Van Loosenhoorn went way wide, and Duvel is now side by side with him. It's going to be a drag race down to Brooklands. And it looks like Van Loosenhoorn likes to go back online as Duvel slots in behind him, but Van Loosenhoorn goes just a little bit too deep into Brooklands, is able to cover off as they come into Luffield. They've got some lap traffic coming up. Oh, just a little bit of a love tap from Duvel as he comes right up on the rear bumper of Van Loosenhoorn's roof. He lost just a little bit of momentum with him coming up and giving that love touch. Now the lap traffic is going to let them by. That was Van der Sticklen who was letting them through. And once again, wide apex from Van Loosenhoorn. Just can't seem to hit that one. Very close from Kevin Duvel. They've got lap traffic once again coming up the Maggots. He decides to back out of it. Duvel's probably going to be looking to get a very good exit here as they've got 2 lap cars in front of him. Oh, just gets chopped off by, that was Mark Bentkelsen. And he's actually in a little bit of a fight with Jeroen Ursum, it looks like. Now all 4 cars are coming down towards Brooklyn as Loosenhoorn stays defensive and Duvel doesn't try to make a move. This time by, Duvel is being very patient here, waiting for just the right moment to try and attack.
And we're coming up to what I believe might be the final lap coming up. So this is going to be it. They have no more lap cars in front of them, just a sprint to the end.
Do or die time. What does Duvel do? Does he consolidate? Does he take the second place and just take the hit and play it safe here? Or does he go for the win? Does he try to dominate as he does sometimes in these races in this series, being able to make out a Vettel-esque run coming up to Maggots? He's not close enough to make it. Is he going to try and get a run? He gets just a little bit of curve, and that hurts his exit. This could have been his last chance. Doesn't seem to have a good enough run as Martin van Loosenhoort goes very wide to try and get as much momentum as he can out of that corner. Duvel is definitely too far back. He's going to have to try and take a very wide corner through Luffield. He closes up under braking for Brooklands. Let's see if he can make it happen. Is he going to square off the corner and try to get a run? He's right up on that bumper. He was able to cut down on the time. We've actually got one more lap. We haven't got the white flag yet. We're going to get it this time by, so he's going to get one more chance after that mistake, Ayrton.
Yep, and he's right on the rear, less than half a second, 3/10 actually, and he's closing in. He just needs to get that exit out of Maggots onto that backstretch to get that run in, and he just has to stop making those mistakes exiting the corners, because Van Loosenlord is very fast outside these corners.
Closes up under braking. This time it looks like he does have a decent exit. I don't know if it's enough though. He's holding on. They just got about similar exit. White flag is in fact out. Martin van Loosenhoort has a decent run. He stays defensive at first, but now he comes back to the line. Duvel follows him into Brooklands. He's running out of chances here. He closes up once again, just like he did last time. Is he going to try and get the run and do an over-under out of Luffield? This is going to be his only opportunity. He closes up on the back of him. He doesn't get the run. This is going to be it. Van Loosenhoort has the acceleration coming to the line. Van Loosenhoort is going to be our winner in race 2 here at Silverstone in round 4. Kevin Duvel takes second. Meanwhile, Guido Decker is still a ways back, going to finish off the podium as long as he gets to the line. That was a nail-biter, Ayrton.
Oh yeah, and definitely just these two, the fastest guys, managing to survive all the chaos from the beginning of the race and ending up to finish just 2/10 away from each other. That's pretty exciting.
Well done to Loosenhoort. Guido Decker comes across in third, and it looks like Bob Van Summeren was our last car in the lead lap. Everybody was a lap down, so that should be everybody across the line there. But yes, our two leaders in the points championship fighting each other directly on the track. That is what we love to see. And man, did Van Loosenhoort do an awesome job withstanding that pressure.
And this is definitely going to help him in this championship. He knows that he can beat Duvel in a race, and he knows that he's just as fast as him, especially on this track. He did a very good job.
As we see a fair bit of the cars doing some celebration on the backstretch with some weaving and some donuts as they slide around there. Let's go through the standings for you. That was Martin van Loosenhoort winning once again. Kevin Duvel taking second. Guido Decker was in third. Bob Van Summeren in fourth, Jeroen Ursum in fifth, Kel Peterson in sixth, Mark Bentvelsen in seventh, Bram van der Sticklen in eighth, Steve Clays in ninth, and Hube de Nuge in 10th. All right, that was an exciting couple of races, Ayrton. What are your thoughts on this, and what does this mean for the championship?
Well, I think because since both those guys just swapped positions in first and second in the two races, that the championship standings are going to be pretty much the same as they were before. But it definitely gives Van Loosenlord the chance to keep on coming and keep on attacking and catching up to Duvel in the future races.
Well, we're looking forward to coming back in 2 weeks' time for these fast and these chaotic and these exciting races in the UGX Simulators Roof European Trophy. But before we go, we are going to thank a few people. We obviously want to thank UGX Simulators, the sponsor for this series. Also, thanks to Guido Decker, who is the organizer, who puts in a lot of hours to make this thing happen. Also, thank you to the software and hardware that we use for our broadcast, iRacing.com, XSplit, Twitch TV, Audio Technica, and AverMedia. Also, thanks to the team today, Kevin, Ayrton. Also, thank you to Stefan, our spotter today, who did a good job feeding us information. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can find it at www.globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races and race highlights. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at /GlobalSimRacingChannel. Also, a special thank you goes to Eric Ekholm, who provides us with much of our music. You can find it not only here on GSRC, but in TV commercials, movie trailers, iTunes, and Spotify. If you like our music, tell Eric where you heard it at ericekholm.com. Additional thanks go to Casey Lalonde, who also provides us with music for our broadcasts. You can find more of his music at caseylalonde.bandcamp.com. Next race in the series is going to be at Oulton Park. That'll kick off at 6:15 p.m. UTC. That'll be Sunday, March 30th in 2 weeks' time. Don't miss it. We have some broadcasts coming up, including one today. That'll be the Northwest Majors at Sebring for 120 minutes, and that'll be at 1:30 a.m. UTC on Monday. But that's today on Sunday for those of you in North America in a few hours' time. And that will be March 17th if you are over in Europe and staying up into the wee hours. However, the GreenValleyLake.com MX5 World Tour is next week. That'll be at Zolder. That's 7 p.m. UTC on Saturday, March 22nd. The Continental Endurance Sports Car Series kicks off round 2 at Sebring as well. That'll be 10:30 p.m. at UTC at Saturday, March 22nd, in a week's time. Also, the Piston Cup goes road course racing at Watkins Glen, and that'll be at 6:45 p.m. UTC, Sunday, March 23rd. And then the Enduro Pro Series will be back again at Watkins Glen at 3:45 p.m. UTC, Saturday, March 29th. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and I'll see you on the track.